Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 2, Chapter 7, and this morning we're doing text 42. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Dayayed Madhava Kunja Bihari Dayayed Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jamunathira Vannachari Jamunathira Vannachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Jamunatira Vannachari Jamunatira Vannachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari 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 Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivājakacārya Stotra Satsisi Maharaj Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivājakacārya Stotra Satsisi Maharaj Divine Grace Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavind Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Charya Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vamsi Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivacharya Gaur Bhaktavind Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Ganga Mahi Ki Jai, Jamuna Mahi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Guru and the God Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Namini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Statmani Tri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Narayana Namaskritya Narunchevam Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Vijirayat Nashtapraiswa Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhavatu Tamastuke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 42. Yeṣāṁ sa eṣa bhagavān dayayed anantaḥ sarvātmanāśrita-pado yadi nirvyalīkam te dustarām atitaranti deva-māyāṁ naiṣāṁ mamāham iti śva-śṛgāla-bhakṣye yeṣāṁ sa eṣa bhagavān dayayed anantaḥ sarvātmanāśrita-pado yadi nirvyalīkam te dustarām atitaranti deva-māyāṁ naiṣāṁ mamāham iti śva-śṛgāla-bhakṣye yeṣāṁ sa eṣa bhagavān dayayed anantaḥ sarvātmanāśrita-pado yadi nirvyalīkam te dustarām atitaranti deva-māyāṁ naiṣāṁ mamāham iti śva-śṛgāla-bhakṣye. Please chant Hare Krishna.
yeṣāṁ sa esha bhagavān dayayed anantaḥ sarvātmanāśrita-pado yadi nirvyalīkam te dustarām atitaranti deva-māyāṁ naiṣāṁ mamāham iti śva-śṛgāla-bhakṣye. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
yeṣāṁ sa esha bhagavān dayayed anantaḥ sarvātmanāśrita-pado yadi nirvyalīkam te dustarām atitaranti deva-māyāṁ naiṣāṁ mamāham iti śva-śṛgāla-bhakṣye. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? All right, so we do word for word. Yeṣāṁ, unto those only. Sa, the Lord. Esha, the bhagavān, the personality of Godhead. Dayayed, thus bestow his mercy. Anantaḥ, the unlimited potency. Sarvātmanāśrita, by all means, without reservation. Ashrita-pada, surrendered soul. Yadi, if such surrender. Nirvyalīkam, without pretension. Te, those only. Dustarām, insurmountable. Atitaranti, can overcome. Cha, and the paraphernalia. Deva- māyāṁ, diverse energies of the Lord. Na, not. Yeṣāṁ, of them. Mama, mine. Aham, myself. Iti, thus. Dhīḥ, conscious. Śva, dogs. Śṛgāla, jackals. Bhakṣye, in the matter of eating. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. But anyone who is specifically favored by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, due to unalloyed surrender unto the service of the Lord, can overcome the insurmountable ocean of illusion and can understand the Lord. But those who are attached to this body, which is meant to be eaten at the end by dogs and jackals, cannot do so. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The unalloyed devotees of the Lord know the glories of the Lord in the sense that they can understand how great the Lord is and how great is his expansion of diverse energy. Those who are attached to the perishable body can hardly enter into the realm of the science of Godhead. The whole materialistic world, based on the conception of the material body as the self, is ignorant of the science of God. The materialist is always busy working for the welfare of the material body, not only his own, but also those of his children, kinsmen, communitymen, countrymen, etc. The materialists have many branches of philanthropic and altruistic activities from a political, national, and international angle of vision. But none of the field work can go beyond the jurisdiction of the misconception of identifying the material body with the spirit soul. Unless, therefore, one is saved from the wrong conception of the body and soul, there is no knowledge of Godhead. And unless there is knowledge of Godhead, all advancement of material civilization, however dazzling, should be considered a failure. Oma Gyanati Vidandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakchu Anmilitam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manokristam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Vedati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Simati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasarine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Shatayini. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gunatise Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Rama. English translation again. But anyone who is specifically favored by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, due to unalloyed surrender unto the service of the Lord, can overcome the insurmountable ocean of illusion and can understand the Lord. But those who are attached to this body, which is meant to be eaten at the end by dogs and jackals, cannot do so. Hare Krishna. So this is really to the point of the need to surrender to the Lord, and from the surrender, we will be specifically favored. It's very important to understand that. We talk about surrender many times in different lectures, but it needs to be repeated over and over and over again because we're fighting against the material energy. And the material energy wants us to just run our affairs based on what we like to do. But success in life, as we're told here, involves having to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, live life based on what Krishna wants us to do to serve him. So the more that we obey Krishna's command, as he stated in Bhagavad Gita and as explained also in Srimad Bhagavatam in greater detail, the more we do that, the more Krishna will be satisfied. And when Krishna gets satisfied, we're very fortunate because Krishna is very, 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 very kind. And he's also most powerful. Bhagavān, full of the six opulences. Nobody in anywhere has all six opulences in full. But he does. And especially his knowledge of renunciation makes it's very fascinating. Many of his pastimes, he's actually living like appealing to or using the power of renunciation, even in the spiritual world. The way the devotees, unalloyed devotees relate to Krishna. As we know in the past times, you Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam, those in Vrindavan don't know him as God. They know him as the object of love, the one that we become the happiest the more we surrender in an unalloyed way to him. Srila Prabhupada defines Vrindavan. He defines Vrindavan as not a city. He starts by striking out what people see with their eyes when they go to Vrindavan. the physical part of it. He struck it out. He says the real Vrindavan definition is the place where every living entity is in intense love, intense love with Krishna. So that's the example that we have to follow. We may be conditioned souls true enough with all kinds of unwanted desires. But the more that we surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and shed those desires, you don't shed the desires for just not wanting to do them at all, but do them in connection with service to the Lord. The more we do that, actually, we're going to be very happy, just like the residents of Vrindavan are happy. The Brihad Bhagavatamrita describes it so wonderfully, Krishna and how the devotees of Krishna relate to him. Krishna is so carefully hidden his superiority from his unalloyed devotees that the love just simply flows, and there's competition of love in so many ways that Krishna allows these unalloyed devotees who love him dearly to serve him. It's wonderful. We'll take one example. And then hopefully you can imagine yourself being in the shoes of those who do that. There is Madhurya Ras that is exhibited by the gopis who are in love with Krishna. There is a Sakya Ras exhibited by the cowherd boys who also have the way of relating to Krishna. Krishna is their hero. Then the parents have Vatsalya Ras. And in one side of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, chapter, the canto, volume 3, chapter 6. So there's some relationship with Krishna returning from tending to the cows. This is in Golok, the spiritual world, not Gokul. Golok, the spiritual world. This has been described by Gopakumara, who's later on we learned that his spiritual name, his name in the spiritual world is Sarupa, not Swarup, no V there, it's just Sarupa. That's his name. He's a cowherd boy. He had been gone. He's in the material world, in Vrindavan, and he went to so many places, and then all the higher planets, material planets, then to the Vaikuntha planets, then to the spiritual world, finally not the spiritual world, but after the Vaikuntha planets, he went to the highest, which is Golok Vrindavan. And Krishna sees him. Krishna's just returning from tending to the cows is a whole spectacle in itself. So much happens based on the love that the unalloyed devotees have for Krishna. So they know the road that he's going to be returning on, and they've lined up literally to receive him. This is a regular activity. In the morning, he's going to tend to the cows and he's coming back. Gopis are lined up. The parents, those who play in the Vatsalya Ras role, that is Mother Yashoda and Rohini, they already have in their hands an arti tray with things like ghee, wick, and all of those kinds of things that are going to be used that we do here in practice on the altar. They have that lined up that when Krishna appears, they're going to honor him like that as the very favorite and the most beloved son. The gopis are also on the road. And Krishna finally appears. Now, Gopakumara, whose name is Sarupa, had just come to Golok Vrindavan, wanting to see Krishna very much. So Gopakumara or Sarupa was the one person that Krishna hadn't seen for a while, according to the way the pastime unfolded. So then Krishna sees him from a distance, and he runs, seeing his favorite cowherd boy. Actually, he's a favorite, everyone that was a favorite of his. He runs and embraces Gopakumara, and he is so happy that he starts shedding tears. just meeting one cowherd boy who has returned to the spiritual world. Krishna is shedding tears and Krishna faints. This is so much love Krishna has for his beautiful devotees. Krishna faints. And the interesting thing is he started crying, just tears of joy seeing Gopakumara. And then he couldn't just stand so much the joy, that the love that was coming out. So he faints. And then Gopakumara describes he still was shedding tears even while he fainted. And not many people could do that, because as you well know. He shed so much that, of course, we have a village setting, so it's all transcendental. But there is transcendental dirt, transcendental mud, and all of that. So his tears got on the dirt and made it really muddy, like wet clay, like that. This is the closest we can, but of course, everything is transcendental in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's spiritual at Godhead's abode. So you can imagine to some extent, but not fully. You really can't imagine fully. So his love for us is so great. If only we knew, as conditioned souls, nobody would tell us to chant a minimum of 16 rounds. We were doing plenty, that and more and more and more. So this is just one part of it, but since I mentioned the mothers, I'll say a little bit about that also. They had prepared a wonderful meal, Krishna's favorites, for him. Nanda Maharaj was there, sits on the table, they invite Krishna in. He sits down. Actually, I've actually skipped a few parts of it because there was some relation between him and the gopis also. But we don't want to spend the whole time talking about it. So I'll just talk only about the Vasarayas part. They make him sit down. Mother Rohini is on one side of him, Mother Yashoda is on the other side of him. Nanda Maharaj is sitting like a cross. And they start. Krishna should eat. Well, guess what happens? They don't even allow him to eat himself. Everybody wants to feed Krishna. So Mother Yashoda feeds him one morsel, he eats, and he smiles at him. Mother Rohini feeds him another morsel, and Nanda Maharaj is watching all of this. He had his own meal also. They wouldn't even let Krishna eat himself. They feed him from his hands. So much love they give him. So if you can see even some of what the mothers did, and then what Krishna himself did meeting Gopakumara, we're trying to get you a sense of the intense amount of love that's there. That's why Srila Prabhupada defines Vrindavan here on this earth as the place where all living entities, not the humans only, all living entities, including the monkeys, are in intense love with Krishna. So, in this text, it's been explained. Srila Prabhupada starts from the translation, the English translation. Anyone who is specifically favored by the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, because of unalloyed surrender to the pure surrender to the service of the Lord. That's our message there. The message is, we will be favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead if we surrender fully to him. Surrendering fully to him is simply surrendering to the instructions of the Lord. Do as Krishna says, do as Guru says, and put your heart into it. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. You have to serve the Lord unfailing in all circumstances. Therefore, those who play around with service are cheating themselves. I do a little bit of this and I go do my own thing for my own sense gratification. That is not smart at all. The way in which a devotee should serve the Lord is, one, they should be very eager to serve the Lord. Srila Prabhupada says, eagerness is the price. The more eager we are to serve, the more Krishna favors us. We want to get to the point where we are specifically favored by the Supreme Lord. And he tells us how to do it. Unalloyed surrender to the service of the Lord. So when we say we are unalloyed, we are surrendering to the Lord, that means we're surrendering and mentally we're giving ourselves to the Lord physically, we're prepared to do any and everything. And even in our homes, everything that we touch should somehow directly or indirectly be connected to service to the Lord. There's tremendous happiness that comes from doing that. As we were explaining in the bhagavān, Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini, just imagine on either side of Krishna. And serving him what they had cooked for the evening. You can imagine so much love us there to taking turns. One gives one morsel and Krishna turns his head and the other one gives another morsel. And then Krishna likes to play tricks. So I'll tell one more thing about when he was feeding. She was being fed by Mother Rohini and Mother Yashoda. So one time, Mother Yashoda puts a morsel into Krishna's mouth. And what did Krishna do? Krishna leaned back a little bit and made a face, frowned face, making him think that that wasn't so tasty. Now, the gopis were also around, they saw it. And so when he made a face, Mother Yashoda was really startled. Oh, what is it now? What is it? What is it? He was thinking, we did something wrong. But the gopis knew that Krishna was just playing a trick, and they started laughing. So even when he's being fed, they won't let him feed himself. He's being fed. Then he pulls a trick somewhere. Krishna is always thinking of ways to get his pure devotees their attention in different ways. He is the ultimate in everything. Therefore, when it comes to pranks, he's the ultimate prankster. This is a little light one that he pulled in there. So when he's saying, come to me by unalloyed surrender, unalloyed means pure. So when there's some impurity in something, and especially in metals, and we call it an alloy. So if it's unalloyed, that means there is no impurity. So mentally, of course, with these physical bodies, we can only do but so much, and then it has its downside also. The body can't do everything purely, but the mind can. So whatever we do, we try our very best with this physical body, but our minds must be so keyed into doing the very best that we can. Krishna does not look at the services that we give him as much as he gets keyed into the intention behind the service that we give him. It's the intention. And that intention can be pure. That definitely can be purified. So we give ourselves, and we should feel fortunate that we're serving the Lord. Why? He is the supreme personality. As your Papa says in the purports, the unalloyed devotees know the glories of the Lord. And they talk about it all the time. It just simply means the Lord's devotees, they are always thinking about the Lord. They're literally in the heart of the Lord. And he's in their hearts. Like that. They're always thinking about it. They're conversing about it. And they become very happy talking about the Lord that way. So the unalloyed devotees, they know the glories of the Lord. And they also can understand how great he is. So much so that a good chunk of his greatness in Golok Vrindavan is to set it up in such a way every time that he goes, wherever he goes and he comes back, it's almost like a festival the way he comes back. The way the devotees think about how to serve him. So those who are attached to the Prabhupada says to this perishable body, they cannot get into the realm of a science of Godhead. As a matter of fact, they can't even know the Lord. But just imagine how many people in this world of now, I heard the upgraded population of the world. We are now at 8.1 billion, 8,100 million people, human beings on this earth. Many people know, they've heard about God. They don't even know what he looks like. They can't identify him. And the Lord says, I reserve the right to cover my own personality with the curtain of Yogamaya for those who don't want to understand me, who think that they can control things themselves here in this material world. I reserve the right not to be known by them. And the overwhelming majority of these 8.1 billion people do not know Krishna. They do not know Krishna. They've heard of Krishna, but they can't even connect that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They can't make that connection. And so we take for granted Krishna is still bhagavān swayam. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should never take that for granted. It is the greatest statement to know and be convinced by. And if we are convinced, then nobody should be told to do service. They should be eager to do service. As a matter of fact, the way in which we can satisfy our guru, spiritual master, because he's a representative of Krishna. And if we serve him well, Krishna will be pleased with us. You have to, if you don't, your guru doesn't know you, go introduce yourself to him. Gurus sometimes have so many disciples, they won't always remember every one of them, unless you're around them a lot. Those ones they remember. They give the mercy all around the world. They go different places and initiate. So if you don't think the guru knows or you haven't had much connection with them, then introduce yourself to him, and then you can even tell him, this is my name, this is when you initiated me, this is the place that you initiated, you tell the date and the place and so on. Then the important question, Maharaj, what can I do to serve you? Ask for service. Ask for service. You might even want to throw in a little bit of your material background, the things that you can do to help the guru to give you an assignment. The more you serve, see, the point is you have to be eager. So we're trying to tell you a strategy to be able to serve your spiritual master. So you introduce yourself and then ask for service. This is what I can do. This is what I've done so far. I'm in this particular temple. And if there's anything special you'd like me to do for you, if Krishna wants, he will actually send a message to the guru to you to get some service done. You should be eager to serve. And when you get the service, you're the luckiest person in the world. Do that service with the utmost attention and then report back to Guru. And when the service is done, you ask Maharaj, what else can I do? You need to ask this question, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? Until he himself is not going to give you any more. He says, that's fine. Then you go on. But go get service, because this is how you please Guru. And when you please the Guru, Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, he will specifically favor you. Now remember, the Guru that initiated you, and those who are not initiated, you'll get to that point. It's good to know ahead of time so that you even practice it right once you get initiated. When Guru is happy with you, remember one of Guru's function, the initiating Guru, is when a person leaves the body, the Guru meets up with that particular soul and plays the role of pleading to Krishna to allow the soul to come back to the spiritual world. Guru is going to do that. Now, doesn't it make sense that you got to put yourself, it's best to put yourself in a situation where Guru is happy with you, because the happier he is with you, the more likely he is to plead your case for you with all the anantaḥs that didn't get quite wiped away, the anantaḥs of these unwanted desires, some of the, we're still rough on the edges, that Krishna can forgive that and allow you to go back home for an eternal life of knowledge and the highest happiness. So be really, really keyed into serving Guru very nicely. Devotees can also be served. How do you do that? When devotees are served, Guru becomes very happy. And when Guru is served, Krishna is happy. And you serve devotees, Krishna automatically becomes happy also. So how do you serve devotees? We have conversations with devotees. Within the conversation, you should listen intently to some things that come up that the person, the devotee, might want done. You may be able to do it. Offer immediately when you see that opportunity come up through the conversation that there is some need that's there by the devotee. Then you offer to fulfill that. Sometimes you can tell the devotee, yeah, I can do this, 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 or just simply do it. That's the sweeter part of it. That's the part I like best. To do it without even the devotee knowing that you are going to do it. This is all from Nectar of Instruction. Exchange of gifts. So if you do that, the relationship between you and that devotee becomes really, really strong and loving. They will be more than willing to help you in situations where you need help. So the relation becomes wonderful. And this is our preparation. We got to learn how to love devotees by serving them. And then Guru by serving his mission. What does a Guru want? Well, you don't know. That's why you go ask. Just ask. Because he'll tell you. Sometimes they may tell you, what are you doing? They may ask you, what are you doing in the temple? And you may describe your services, and they may say, okay, keep doing that. But you do need to tell the Guru your background, what you've learned materially, so that if he needs some help, he'll ask you to do that particular one. Because then that'll be service that's based on your propensity, things you've already learned to do in the material energy. But now you're doing it to serve Krishna, to serve Krishna's representative, Guru. So Krishna says, so in Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, those who are attached to this perishable body can hardly enter into the realm of the science of God. Those who are attached to the body are literally lost. This whole materialistic world is based on the conception of body is the self. And that is wrong. That's why Srila Prabhupada says so many times, you're not the body, you're not the body. So people will actually focus more on serving and giving fruit, the proper nourishment to the soul through Krishna consciousness. And in Kali Yuga, it's the chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The materialist is always busy working for the welfare of the material body, and those of his children, and those of the community, and those in the country. And people are now coming out with all kinds of videos on YouTube. Whatever their ideas are, it's just free for all. Well, if it's free for all, then why don't we put things in there that will also turn people's minds to Krishna? So you give your family, if you're a householder, and many of us are, that's listening, give your family to the Lord. That is, plan to get your family serving devotees, serving Guru, and serving the deities. As parents, that's what you should do. As siblings, that's what we should do. Help each other to become servants of the servants of the servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever your situation is at home, you have to have services that involve serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Activities should be like that at home. Majority of it. When you go to work, surround yourself with things that remind you of Guru and Krishna, the place that you work. To the extent that the job conditions would allow you, do that. There has to be something that should remind you. When I was at Indiana University, I was teaching there. I did not want so much, I was not going to put a huge picture of Krishna. And of course, nobody was doing that in the offices, so I knew that would raise some concerns. But I had a Jagannath sticker. And so right on my table, I put it in a place that wasn't so conspicuous, but I knew it's there. And every time I raised my head from whatever I'm typing or looking at, close to the computer, I can see from the side of my eye, I can see Jagannath sticker. So that way, my subconscious is always picking up the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or Jagannath. And speaking about that, in less than 3 weeks, we have Rath coming up. And please, 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 be there to help bring such a wonderful, wonderful celebration to us. It's going to be in City Island for those of you in this area on July 19th, less than 3 weeks away. So, anyway, Srila Prabhupada is saying, if people don't get saved from the wrong conception of the body and the soul, then there's no knowledge of God, then all advancement of material civilization, however dazzling they may be, should be considered a failure. Why? Because they're all temporary. And right now, the way the world is being dealt with, people living in the world, they're living in destruction to Mother Bhumi. In destruction to Mother Bhumi. The life, so-called civilization now, or advancement in science, is actually to destroy. What is the greatest weapon that's now been built by man on this earth? The atomic bomb. What does it do? Make life better? It destroys. So science is science of destruction. And science of apathy. People don't care. You come up with something, but it has a dangerous side of it, and rather than block the dangerous side fully, oh, we want money, we have a new thing, and then please take it. It does this for you, does that for you, does this, and it's true. It can do those things. So we start using it. Life's going to be more convenient, but in the meantime, we're suffering. We're suffering because it has a downside to it, and they didn't tell you that part. And therefore, you use the products, especially the electronic ones, and in the meantime, it is weakening the body. So, Srila Prabhupada has already given us a solution. Simple living. If we take that seriously, we'll be happier. So first, we have to understand who God is. Mata parataram nanyat, pintira siddhananjaya. Yeṣāṁ adam protam, sutri manugana eva. Krishna himself is speaking. Bhagavad Gita chapter 7. Knowledge of the Absolute. Text 7. O conqueror of wealth, meaning Dhananjaya, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me like pearls strung on a thread. Krishna has so much control and everything comes from him. Personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth. Lord Brahma also says it, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is none other than Sri Krishna. It is also established in Srimad Bhagavatam, the very first text, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, from obeisances to Krishna, Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva. So that should be so cemented in our minds, nobody can push us away from it or argue anything against it, not even the Mayavadis should. Srila Prabhupada advised, stay away from Mayavadis anyway. Anyone that tells you that, oh, your best thing is to go to the Brahma Jyoti and the success in life is to merge into him, you walk away from that person. Be nice about it, but get away from that person as much as possible, as soon as possible. So the personality of Godhead is the absolute truth. So, and it is established in Śva-śṛgāla-bhakṣye Upanishad. It says, I know the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is transcendental to all material conception, of darkness. I know that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. So Srila Prabhupada has given us such a gem of knowledge, making us understand with all these religions that are there, that are calling God Jehovah, calling him Allah, calling him God, calling him generic name and specific names, which are all, by the way, it's explained in the scriptures. Those names are just named, they are all secondary names of the Supreme Lord. They are categorized as secondary. The primary is Krishna. That is the topmost of all the primary names. The names that we know of Krishna are all primary names. And the other ones from the other religions are categorized. They describe God, but they are categorized as secondary. You don't get to know him much by those descriptions of the Lord, those names. But you get to know more about him by the names that Srila Prabhupada has taught us, like Krishna, bhagavān. So there is no way for liberation other than knowing the Supreme Person. No way from liberation. And in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 66, Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion. Now you heard that religion actually is what? That so-called faith. And the faith, I say so-called because it's weak. They don't know how it is. It's all mixed with material, whatever they want in these religions. And the names of God are secondary. They don't get to know God much, even though they mention his name. But they do that in prayer, asking for material things. This is basically what the religions are doing. But if we surrender to the Lord by abandoning those religions and do an unalloyed surrender to the Lord, then the Lord also saves us from all sinful activities. The results of all sinful activities, because you see, the sinful activities are there, the resultant suffering of the sinful activities also means we don't get to go back to Godhead. So if he saves us from the reactions of these sinful activities, that means he's paving the way for us to go home and meet him like the way Gopakumara met him. Krishna makes a huge scene for those who return back to the spirit, return to the spiritual world. It is a huge celebration because we have been gone for lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes in different types of bodies, 8,400,000 different types of bodies. And then finally, we got it right and gotten the mercy of Krishna by a little bit of effort on our side. And now, in devotional service, and now we come back. That means the proper relationship between us and Krishna will be reestablished. Krishna has special relationship between himself and every single resident of the spiritual world. Every single one of them. So we have our relationships with them. So basically being in the material world means that relationship has been put on hold. So Krishna is not even getting that either. The relationship between us and him in the spiritual world. So he's very happy to receive us back. So we have to just surrender by thinking of the Lord. Think of the Lord. Become the Lord's devotee. Offer obeisances to the Lord. That is very important because we thought we were the big head honcho. We could just decide whatever we wanted. Let us learn humility by offering obeisances to the Lord. Every time you get to the temple room, you offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada before you sit down. Very important. When you serve, Sri Krishna says, you serve my representative, I am even happier than serving me. So offer obeisances. Maya will always tell us, oh, it doesn't matter. You're here, just sit down. Oh, it's not. Then you don't think it's a big thing, but it is. Krishna says, do it. Offer obeisances to me. Think of me. Become my devotee. Serve me. Offer obeisances to me. And now you heard A little bit from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, how personal the relationship is between Krishna and his unalloyed devotees. So Prabhupada is trying to get us to be one of those. Krishna says if you serve him, you abandon these other religions that are secondary. Actually, they only take you to the material planets that are high planets, heavenly planets, but it's not out of the material world still. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, this birth, death, old age, and disease, they're still there too. Even though Brahma is going to die. But of course, he's very much connected to Krishna, so his death is going to be glorious for him. What about us? Take this seriously. Krishna says, I should deliver you from all sinful reactions. So the conclusion literally is the same as the translation itself. So we'll go to the translation. So we see, because it's such a, it's right to the point. Bhagavatam 2:742. Anyone who is specifically favored by the Supreme Lord, due to unalloyed surrender to the service of the Lord, can overcome this insurmountable ocean of illusion and can understand the Lord. That is what we have to have at the back of our mind. Therefore, we should live life such that we are specifically favored by the Supreme Lord. How? We should be specifically favored by the Lord's representative, Guru. And that's why I asked, to get the favor of Guru, he has to know you. You have to go to him. He will not come to you. It is your business to get the favor of Guru. So go introduce yourself and ask for service. Ask for service. And if you want Guru to preach to you, it's very simple. You ask Guru, can you tell me what things to do to be a better devotee? It's a wide open question. He will just go different places to preach to you. By the time he's finished, you've gotten to know quite a bit that would serve you, help you specifically. The Guru's business is to preach. So through that question, how to be a better devotee, you look at so many aspects of it, and whatever he tells you, you take it seriously, because that he is the transmitter of Krishna's message to us. Then we get special favor like that. And you get special favor of Guru, you get special favor of Krishna. Serve with the intention of doing the very best in all the services that you give. And then it will help us to be mentally, even while we're here in the material world, but mentally disconnected from all the craziness in the material world. And then we can understand the Lord, because the Lord will reveal himself to the heart, to our hearts. Those who are attached to his body, pray for them. They don't know that this body is going to be gone in a short while. 100 years of life in the material world in Kali Yuga is very short. Very, very, very short. 1 second of Lord Brahma's time, 1 second in Lord Brahma's time is 100,000 years. 100,000 years, according to the way we keep time. Therefore, the 100 years is 1,000. 1,000. If you divide Lord Brahma's time into 1,000 and take 1 second is 1,000, and divide that into 1,000, even if you can imagine that. That's our 100 years. So we live for a very short while. Lord Brahma blinks his eye, and in a manner of speaking, and we're already dead. So it's a very short while. But there's so much we can get from it if we hear attentively, apply what we heard, chant the holy name sincerely, and serve, and especially make a connection with Guru so he can give you service and you become a favorite of his that way. The Lord will favor you. You go back to Godhead and do like Gopakumara is doing. When Krishna meets him, so much joy is there. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you for coming on to hear the beginning of the week. Any questions, any comments? You can unmute yourself and do so. Hare Krishna. So, dear Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Accept my obeisances, Lord Shri.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All
My
praise to Srila
obeisances,
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Unfortunately, I had to stay away from the call because of a work call for some time. But the last section kind of sends some chills to my body when you were reminding about the time comparison and how much time we have. So just thought of it, whether somebody lives for 20 years or 50 years or 100 or 200, doesn't matter. It's still just a blink of moment.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Prabhu, if you can just repeat in short about the Gop Kumar interaction with Krishna that you referred to, because I really
Oh,
missed it.
Vyabhavatamita.
Yes, I love it when you
Talking
recall
about
those
this is a lot
stories.
of fun. Oh, I'm more than
Yeah.
happy to do it again. Are you kidding me? We have so much fun. Baba Kumara had been through, okay, he had so I'll tell you a little more now. He had a deity, Madan Gopal. And his spiritual master gave him a mantra. And for that mantra, whatever he desired, he could get. Now, he's a cowherd boy, so he was always desiring to ultimately be with Krishna. But when he left the earth, he was in Vrindavan, like the earth Vrindavan, India. So with his mantra, he was able to go to the different higher material planets. And he kept going higher and higher. And so he would describe some of the things that were there. Some of it was very funny. When he went to Swagaloka, because the Lord is there as Upendra. Upendra is also one of the sons of Aditi, as is Indra himself. So Upendra and Indra are supposed to be brothers. So that's what's in Swagaloka. Quick. Then he went to the Loka above that, Mahaloka. He met some sages. Then up, the sages, actually, they were coming to this earth to actually bless the earth, to even purify the Ganga. He met them there, Mahaloka. Janaloka, there were some sages doing wonderful, wonderful activities in service, pujas. Then finally to Satyaloka. And then Brahma, and so this part just got me laughing so much. I'll throw that in. When Gopakumara got to Brahmaloka, the Lord's there, Kavadaksha Vishnu, because that's who Lord Brahma was born from. So he also has some relationship there. He goes to Brahmaloka. But this particular Brahma, there was some leftover pieces that was from the destruction of the world below us, because when Lord Brahma goes to sleep, part of the world gets destroyed. And somehow arrangement was made such that Lord Brahma heard an explosion that scared him. So the Lord Brahma that we know ran away and nobody could find him. The Brahmaloka. Therefore, they temporarily appointed Gopakumara to be Brahma. And Gopakumara changed the situation where everybody that he changed in terms of positions. He gave different positions in Brahmaloka to Vaishnavas. You have to be. Not means not everybody is. There's some people who are materialists still. So not everybody in Brahmaloka goes back to Godhead. They are so materialist because they like the way they get so many the special activities, cities, mystic cities. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah. So some people are into that, even at Brahmaloka, and then some people are devotees. Anyway, so when he goes up to the planets that are above Brahmaloka, means he goes past the coverings and sees some things that's going on there. And then he gets to the Vaikuntha planets. Now, from the Vaikuntha planets, again, he always wanted to go higher and higher. So he kept saying his mantras, and then finally, Narada Muni got into it, and then he gets to Golok Vrindavan. After Dwarka in the spiritual world, after Yodhya in the spiritual world, he saw all of that. He saw Lord Ram. Now, when he came to Golok, Golok Vrindavan, first he met some gopis, older gopis. Not old in terms of the way we look at things, but they're not the younger gopis, the older ones. He tried to talk to them, they wouldn't listen to him. Why? Well, they saw he was there, but they were missing Krishna because Krishna had gone to tend to the cows, and they were actually quite sad. Everybody was anticipating when Krishna would come back. So he didn't get much help from them. But only one of them told them that you want to see Krishna. He lives in Nanda's village, there. This is again Goloka we're talking about. So she pointed the direction to Gopakumara. Gopakumara goes, sits at the gate to the village. And that's when she saw the younger gopis. And then the anticipation of Krishna coming, they said, this is the road that Krishna is going to be coming from. We went to tend to the cows. So everybody gets ready towards, the time when Krishna is going to be coming. Gopakumara has gotten there coming from the material world all the way up to now, Golok. And Krishna comes. And that's when I described when he finally showed up. And he saw Gopakumara and he ran to Gopakumara and gave him a huge embrace. And he was lost for words. He starts literally crying. Gopakumara also breaks down. So much love. Breaks down, he's crying. But then, actually, Krishna fainted. Gopakumara also fainted. But he came back to consciousness and Krishna was still lying there fainted. And so much tears from Krishna. And then some of the gopis told Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, Krishna has fainted. And they all come running out. Everybody is upset. But Krishna finally came to. They took Krishna, and basically so many things they exchanged between Gopakumara and Krishna. And Krishna described at that point, that's when we got to know Gopakumara's name in Bhagavān. He's called Gopakumara here on the earth, but Krishna called him immediately Sarupa. My dear friend Sarupa is in the Sakya Ras, in the cowherd boy. So that's when we got to know his name in the spiritual world. I'm saying that to say we have our names in the spiritual world also. Nobody remembers the names, but they're there. And when we get back, we'll be called by those names. So that's how we heard about Gopakumara's spiritual name in the spiritual world, Sarupa. And then the gopis related to, there was a strategy that the gopis came up with. And they wanted to relate to Krishna. But Mother Yashoda and Rohini were also there. And they can't relate in Vasalya Ras. The Madhurya Ras, the loving relationship, when the mothers are there. So finally, they came up with a plan. Krishna said, Mother, can you go back and prepare some meal for me to eat because I am hungry? Please prepare something very nice. And Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini and Balaram also followed them. And they went back into the room, and then the gopis got to relate to Krishna. I won't go to the details of that. Some of it is described. And then finally, when the food was ready, then they got, and I've already described how Rohini and Yashoda were taking turns feeding morsels in the Krishna's mouth, like that. So much nectar is there. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Bhaya Bhavatamita is nectar, without a doubt. Okay, you have your hand up. Please unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance. Prabhupada.
Hi, glory to the Prabhupada.
One of my takeaway from this class is Gopakumar returning to the spiritual world and the Lord crying. I was just meditating on this the whole time during this class. We have this picture in our house, entering the spiritual world. It's one of my,
I remember that.
it's one of my most favorite and beloved picture, like so true to my heart. As I was meditating on this pastime, and when you said that the Lord was crying, right, I started thinking, what in the hell is wrong with us? How
sitting here in the
stupid.
material world.
How stupid are we? You know, and then I started thinking about, I think it's Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I always get confused when they said, take the shoe and knock your head 100 times. Yeah,
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. That's
yeah.
Bhaktisiddhanta. Yeah.
I think we should add a stick and a broom to it too. I'm sorry, but the Lord is waiting for us to come back. He's waiting for us to come back, and he is waiting, and here we are enjoying in this crazy material world. And I'm
Trying
thinking,
to.
well, I don't know if we're trying to, because we're making too much effort in it, if you ask me, you know. But the point is, the Lord is sitting and waiting. When will they come closer to me? When will they remember me? When will they come to me? When will they do this? When will they do that? I'm giving them so much help and signs and pushes and nudges and knocks, and
And
we
they're still
just
not
don't
getting it.
see it. We're not getting it. And yet we have so many excuses. So many, like my Gurudev would say, damn excuses, So many excuses, so many stories, so many dramas, so much gossip, so much of this and that, and I cannot do this, I cannot do that, and all that. And here the Lord is saying, but I am giving you opportunity, but you are just so caught up in your life. And then you hear this beautiful pastime that Gopakumar enters, the Lord is crying and fainting. What are we
Just to
doing
see
here?
him. Just to see
Yes.
him. Even that
He's,
alone.
he is waiting at the gate. And here we are just sitting and Krishna Chaitanya. It cannot get better than this, We should be crying. We should really be crying and thinking, oh my Lord, Krishna, what will it take for me to come to you, remove all my anarthas and my obstacles and my what have you and my attachments and my maya? Like we should be praying this every single day. Of course, expect purification with that, because when the Lord removes all that, we should expect purification and whatever, because it says in the nectar of instruction, right? When the Lord favors his devotee, he will take everything from us.
Yeah,
So we should
material
be
to purify us, yes.
materially. So we should be ready for the Lord to take everything from us materially, if we want to go back to Goloka Vrindavan, because the Lord is waiting, crying and waiting, fainting. I mean, that when I was stuck at that point up until now, asking myself, what the heck is wrong with us?
Yeah, illusion. It's the illusion. It's the illusion, and it's like, whew. Anyway, I think not I think I actually know he's put something on the chat. So I'm gonna read that because I think it connects to what we talked. I think the problem is I do not have faith that these pastimes happen in reality. Spirituality works. Spiritual works is still a fantasy for me. Yeah, that is one of the
I
definitely one
agree
of the
with you.
problems.
Yes, I agree with you there, Krishna. And I think the problem we don't have, we don't have faith in this pastimes. You're right. It's because we don't have faith in the words of Prabhupada. We don't have the faith and believe in the scriptures. We don't have faith and believe in the guru. You're right. I was just, we were going back and forth, attending our spiritual master's 20th disappearance, and I was having a discussion. Yes, I was having a discussion with Anuttama Prabhu because he was there. I was I'm just getting goosebumps right now, just thinking what it is like to be in the association of such elevated devotees. And Anuttama Prabhu said the problem with devotees in today's times, in the current situation, is we don't have faith in Prabhupada's teachings. We don't have faith in Prabhupada's writings. We don't have faith in Prabhupada's books. We don't have faith in Prabhupada and everything that we have in ISKCON. To us, it's like a storybook. It's like Krishna said, it's a fantasy. It's like reading Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Bambi, Cinderella. That's what it is. We really don't have complete 100% faith and believe in Prabhupada and his works and his teachings and his instructions and his writing. And when we do not have faith and belief in the spirit, in Prabhupada's and in the spiritual master, we cannot grow.
Yeah, that's very,
And
very
when we
important. We need to
cannot
understand.
grow, then we will never understand why is Krishna crying, waiting for us. Like, I am just getting goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah. We should not be so concerned about things here. The material world is nothing. But we didn't even say part of this. I mean, even in the Vaikuntha planets, not Golok, but just the Vaikuntha planets. I just said yes because there's so much more in Golok Vrindavan in the spiritual world. But the Vaikuntha planets, just to make those people who think so much about wealth, hopefully give up the idea of this material wealth. I'll just describe just a small part of it. When he went to Vaikuntha planets, this is Gopakumara said, they hadn't gotten to Golok Vrindavan yet. The first Vaikuntha planet where Lord Narayan is, he also had to wait. Those who came to take him, they were residents of the spiritual who came to take him. Even the description of the vehicle is incredible. That they took him to Lord Narayan, the first one, this one planet. They made him wait at the gate because they wanted to tell Lord Narayan that Gopakumara had come. And while Gopakumara was waiting, there were some residents of that Vaikuntha planet that also, they had gone out and they were coming back in. And Gopakumara was so reverential to them. He bowed down and just offered them so much respect. And it is described how so wonderfully these entities, and I'm deliberately using entities because how the whole thing unfolded, they were dressed so nicely and the jewels and so on, so much they had that Gopakumara actually thought that was Lord Narayan. And so he was offering obeisances the way he would do in front of Lord Narayan. And then when he got up, they were looking at him and smiling and said, "We know what you're thinking. I'm not Lord Narayan. I'm just one of the servants of Lord Narayan." So if Gopakumara, just from the way they were, the opulence around these who serve, is so much that Gopakumara could mistake them, think that was the Lord himself. How much wealth do we have? Give up this wealth over here. Try to just live based on whatever, because Lord will supply. But don't go after wealth here unless you want to use it for projects in Krishna consciousness. It's not worth it. This is about Vaikuntha planet. The Golok Vrindavan is even higher. And by the way, those who are in Golok Vrindavan are prettier, physically prettier than even those who are in the Vaikuntha planet. That's another thing that came up about Tamrita. So Srila Prabhupada, we have to be eternally grateful to him because he's taken it to as good as it gets in the spiritual world. Chant your rounds, man. Just chant your rounds. There's not much to do compared to what's there.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
I know. That's okay. It's okay. I'm done.
It's just, I mean, if we can just follow, we don't even have to get to Bhagavatam, to be honest with you. If we can just follow the simple instructions given in Bhagavad Gita, exactly. Because everything is in Bhagavad Gita, that is the undergrad level, and Bhagavatam is graduate and CC is postgraduate, and probably Sri Briya Bhagavatamritam is PhD emeritus. I don't know. But the point is, if we can just simply follow every instruction given in Bhagavad Gita and really surrender to a spiritual master, what are we waiting for? Like, what in the world are we waiting for? And at the same time, why is it so hard for us to surrender? Like, I just, sometimes it just bewilders me.
Yeah, because Maya is strong.
Maya is
strong. And
strong.
yeah, Yeah, and we don't know what's waiting for us. That's why we're still
No,
so keen to
yes.
hear. That's the
My
problem.
so strong. You know, the gurus are there. You know, one day when there is no guru, we are going to be crying. Oh my God, I had the opportunity and I did not
And we
take
blew
it.
it.
You know, we have been coming for so many years. We cannot even surrender 100%, but we surrender to the loss of this traffic, to the loss of the mayor, to the loss of the government in an instant. Why would we, how come we cannot surrender? Why is it that our minds are so stubborn? Why is it that we cannot follow instructions? It's because, well, in addition to what the Krishna said, it's also ego, because we don't want to give up our ego.
Yeah, we've been born in this place, and that's all we see. And we compare ourselves to others who don't have as much as we have materially, and therefore we think we're okay. But that is a huge illusion. We don't have much at all, and everything around us is temporary. It'll be taken away.
Very
Just
quickly.
don't get keyed into that. Be really, really keen on serving your heart. Don't go having sense gratification, that type of fun. You're wasting your time. You're really, really, really wasting your time, and you regret it. After getting to know what many people in this world, billions of people, overwhelming number of human beings, not knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not knowing about the soul and the connection, after knowing all of this, that the majority of the world people don't know, we take it lightly. That is just, we talk about self-sabotage. That is like, we should take this process seriously.
And I want to
Take
add,
your services
I'm,
seriously. Okay,
I'm
one more
sorry.
point in them because we're now
Yeah,
running a little bit time.
I'm sorry. It's just a really, I mean, like going back to what we have been hearing from our spiritual masters, and many of our gurus have said that we have to be in the emergency consciousness, and we are not. That's
Yeah,
the problem.
yeah.
You have
Yeah,
to
we
be
have
in
a very short
emergency
time.
consciousness.
We have a very
100
short
years
time.
is nothing.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we
Hare
need to
Krishna.
understand. Hare Krishna. Any other comments, final comments or questions? Please unmute yourself. If not, then we'd like to thank you very much. Okay, so hopefully now we know what's waiting for us in the best of the planets in the spiritual world. So what we have to do is minuscule compared to the huge advantage of eternal happiness that's waiting for us, and eternal with wonderful wealth. It's been described that every person in the spiritual world has access to riches that can be found in one universe. In the material world, this is how much is available there. So much about the media tells us. So our home is simply superb. We just have to plan to go and do what we're supposed to. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Lord, Prabhupada.